But there we go. It's easier to set it on that one and then switch over to this one. Alright. But yeah, that was fun. I don't know. The trailer for God of High School was pretty decent this last time. It's got a lot of like little hints at stuff that's coming, which is cool for people who know what's going on, but there's not like a lot of like actual content there yet. But the best way to explain God of High School is like a giant tournament for the whole fucking manga, basically.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
So it's very similar to King and Ashura in that sense. There is a point in the story where it diverts from it, but I'd say like the first couple 100 chapters of the manga were about just that tournament. Like, there's little bits in between of like, all right, we're preparing for the next phase of the tournament or whatever. You know, you got like levels, the regional tournament, the national tournament. It's like levels to be the God of High School, basically. Oh, and I think we lost your cam.
Is that my camera being up? And it came back up.
Yeah.
And it's
gotta love. That's right. One of these days we'll set some time up ahead of time when we actually have time and get Discord working. Cause
I have Discord. I mean, we could always do that one too, just whenever you're ready.
Oh yeah, like I said, it's just about the setup. Cause for the way I have to like cut these in, I have to like grab the actual screen and then pull the sides. And for some reason, maybe I'll try to see if Streamlabs OBS is better for that. For some reason, the crop feature in OBS is numbered instead of a line drag. So they haven't like programmed it to be pullable on the window. You literally just enter the dimensions that you want to cut off each side of the window, which isn't the worst. You know what I mean? Like I can do like 200 off this side, 300, but then I got to make sure to do it like and make it fit in the window.
So is it still frozen on
no,
your end?
you should be good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Just, I guess mine's just saying it's frozen, but I just want to make sure.
Dude, yeah, you're looking good on my end. I'll let you know if it goes wrong. I don't know why it does that, which is so weird to me, because it really is like. It used to be. I feel like it's worse than it used to be. And Skype used to be like decently okay, and then it's just like devolved over time.
Yeah, and then on my settings it shows me a blank screen. Oh well, doesn't matter.
Yep,
So
like I said,
it works.
if it works, it works. But yeah, it's an interesting series. I will say it's like, it's funny because I've seen all the memes lately in all of my anime groups where they're just like, these two anime are gonna change the face of like what anime is, and it's God of High School and Tower of God, and they are spectacular. But I don't know if they're like that spectacular that they're going to be able to like break into that section of the genre, and it has nothing to do with like their goodness or anything. I think they're just not generic, not in like generic, but like classic shonen enough. Like they are a little deeper and have a little different plot settings and development than most shonen you would expect to have.
Okay.
With some exceptions, like obviously there's very similar things in some regards and others, but because like we talked about it before, that they're from Korea, their tropes are just different.
Yeah, different tropes. That's all.
Oh yeah, and so it's just going to be. I don't know if it's going to be like as popular as any of the things. It was so funny. The God of High School memes are already popping up for like different. I got the Tower of God memes. And one of the memes currently is the objective meme, which is, you know, like, took them this long since, like, Pokemon, 900 episodes, or, 900 episodes for Ash to become the champion, Naruto, this many episodes to become Hokage, you know, blah, 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 and they're, like, fucking, and I don't know if you've seen it yet, but it's like, Tower of God, 5 episodes, it's like, which they're right and wrong, like, it's funny because it is and isn't, but it's, like I said, it's one of those things where people are going to be like, well, what's going on there? This doesn't make sense. There's a plot, but it's just written in a way that makes more sense later.
Okay.
But,
Well,
yeah.
it looks interesting. I think I have to probably check it out. Is the Crunchyroll's, is it free for like a limited time? Like how many videos you can watch on there if you don't pay for the subscription?
I think Crunchyroll is basically
Free, or is it just with the
free and then free with ads for sure.
Okay.
If it's free, which I think it is free. It's tough right now because I obviously have my profile. I believe Crunchyroll is 100% usually free for most of their stuff. The only thing that you pay for is like the early access to that week's episode. So like if you don't pay for Crunchyroll, you have to pay or you have to wait a week after the episode's released to watch it.
Oh, okay.
Which is a pretty decent. Been doing decent for them, honestly. I will say that sometimes like there's stuff that doesn't like go well for that, but all in all, it's been pretty good. You can keep up with My Hero and a bunch of other stuff that's on there. It doesn't have everything, which is the other issue, but nothing has everything nowadays. There's no one stream site that does.
Exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of streaming services coming out here lately, but what was I gonna say here? So then I guess from this week, then we had just that we talked about, and then we also had that they just dropped the Assassin's Creed
Valhalla.
game, right?
Yeah.
What is it called?
Valhalla, I believe.
Valhalla is what they're going for.
I did see. I haven't actually seen the trailer for it yet, but I've heard a lot of good stuff, and even just the like stills and thumbnails have looked pretty amazing. You know what I mean? You can usually tell pretty quickly if a game is like decent. Especially after watching footage of gameplay, I feel like you can see how characters move and get a good feel for what's going on in a lot of cases. Maybe not overall gameplay, but just like general gameplay. Despite that, I will say like I've heard a lot of like ups and downs with like people kind of like irritated at the vein that they've been going with the Assassin's Creed games, which has been more into the mythology.
Just something different every time. Pirates, Vikings.
I mean, they're all right with that. Their issues was with like this one, and the last one was like delved more into like mythology and stuff, as opposed to like their class. And obviously they were before they were sci-fi and like this and that, but it was very much still like classic, like fighting with swords or fighting with muskets or fighting with this or that or just different stuff. And I think in the other one they were like you had to like fight the Gorgon or something in Odyssey or something. I can't remember. There was a couple interesting ones.
I've only played a few. I think the one I really played was Black Flag. I think was what the name of the title was.
Yeah, the pirate one.
That one was fun. I did enjoy.
I heard Black Flag was pretty good. Was that also the one where you would like were in America sometimes and would like do maybe that was 3 or 4 because I can't remember. There was one where you were like in America and you had like guns and other stuff too, but you were like Native American.
That was the one that didn't do so well when it first came out.
Yeah, it didn't. It didn't do so well.
Or something?
It might have been during the French Revolution. Maybe it was the American Revolution.
Maybe it was.
I think it's the American Revolution because the French were part of the American Revolution. I will say my favorite is still the first game. I felt like it just had the deepest, most integrated historical lore for the time, like less science fiction and more.
Well, yeah, because when it first came out, that's what I had gotten towards. It was just more of this, mythology kind of.
And of course,
and it ended up being this more over virtual reality. Taking control of avatars to become these assassins.
It's like Avatar, bitch, the last air, blah blah. No, but it was the movie. But no, it was an interesting thing. Like I said, I really liked it for the historical context. Like they had actual blueprints from Jerusalem to build the models of the cities. They would do real historical like names and places and dates and people and all kinds of stuff. It was really, really good. And don't get me wrong, they still did it to a lesser extent in the later games. But that first movie was like heavily emphasized on that. There's a lot of cool like hidden stuff, and there is in all the games. But I feel like the hidden stuff in one was more subtle and tactful and less like collect 100 flags from all around the map. They did have that, but they also had like hidden messages on the walls and like certain modes when looking with your special thing. They also had more room to play with like limited areas in a lot of cases, but I don't know. It was interesting. And then obviously I played 2, 3. I played most of them, but my favorite still being 1, I think.
Okay. I think the other one I liked too was the one with the Native Americans, where you played as a Native American.
Maybe see that's kind of the one that I was thinking of. Maybe that one wasn't during the American Revolution. I don't remember when that one is, because that's the one I was thinking of. What?
That's when they integrated. Excuse me.
That's when they integrated guns, right?
No, I thought it was the ability to almost walk or climb pretty much everything.
They might have been that one because even in the early games.
What I liked about the Assassin's Creed game was that literally he can climb everything.
Pretty much, even in the original game, there's very, very few things you can't like get on or in except for water. In later games, they gave him the ability to get in water, obviously. But it was just one of those things where I was like, it's definitely very good. And the games coming out are pretty good. I told you, we've talked about Doom, which came out and all the stuff,
Still
good
need to
stuff with
finish the
that.
last level. I'm on the last boss.
Nice. I think I'm just now getting, because I played on Nightmare, and then I only get to play so much because I play all these other games for the channel. So I play like we did a whole run through of Overcooked 2, and then a half run through again with like different people. Did
What?
bunch
like
of different
I wanted to
stuff.
try that Streets of Rage 4 that came out. Looked fun.
Yeah, you were telling me about that one. I think it's interesting. I picked up Gears Tactics, because I don't usually do tactics games, but I'm a big Gears fan, so I figured it'd be a good time to do it, since I'm probably never going to get XCOM.
I also downloaded that Warzone Call of Duty game.
Okay.
Much different. They for sure went the all Fortnite but battle royale kind of way with everything, because the way it's played is it's like it's not even like a regular Call of Duty game. Like
So I want to be happy that they went outside of the realm of their usual games, but when they only do it to like straight kind of mimic or cop another game company, do they have like some good innovations in it, at least some like unique dynamic gameplay? Or is it really just like a Fortnite rip?
Almost like a Fortnite. There's a couple things like you get cash that you have to acquire within the map, right? And you acquire this cash, you can buy new loadouts is what they give you with the cash, and then special whatever you want to get. I guess there's that's different. Just the only difference is you're not building things to protect yourself. This is more of a kind of true FPS shooter game, instead of you just jumping around crazily and just building crazy things trying to block everyone's shots. But it feels almost the same though. You get on the plane, you get dropped down wherever you want to land on this big giant map.
All right, well, if you're not doing the building though, it's not necessarily like Fortnite. Then it's more like either players
battle royale kind
of
like every other one's doing, but
which is fine.
Like I said, they did add a few things with their the cash, like I said, to change out your loadouts. But other than that, like it's the same concept. You just get dropped in, find some guns wherever you can, and stay alive as long as you can. I
really like it's cool, and I've done it. I mean, before Fortnite was even popular, I played Players, Unknown Battleground, or PUBG or whatever. We played a couple different ones on different games. Even before that one, you had H1Z1 or whatever. I feel like the time has passed. Like, battle royale games, it's dead. Yeah, it's dead, dude. It's so dead. Please bring something else.
I feel like in the next year or two, they're about to be a done dealio for a while.
Cause
maybe one or two will come out here and there, but it's not as much as they've been pushing out. Or even like now, when the game comes out, they even now have to put in a battle royale mode into.
I'm just so done with that. I get it. You guys like battle royale, King of the Hill, random, semi-skilled play, but like.
Yeah, I even heard that Halo, the new one that's supposed to come out, is supposed to have battle royale in it as well. So
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it at all.
They got another year or two.
I'm sure they do. I just wish it was dead, because the concept is dead. They're not doing anything new with it. Is the thing. Once the concept's been dead and they're not doing anything new with it, that's when I'm like, all right, it's time to bail and like find a new brand or like gimmick of game to like do. Because
Fortnite was kind of the only one that I can see that was the most different one, with adding the Minecraft.
Yes, which was that was the one reason I gave. Like, everyone else would talk so much shit, but like I even played Fortnite for a while just to play it and see how it functioned. And I'm like, I'm not necessarily great at it because I don't put the time in to be good at it, but it's not a bad concept of a game. Like, it's a unique concept. It added something from another game to make it unique. My issue with Fortnite is they try to add too much shit continuously.
Yeah, now they seen the popularity on it. Now they're trying to capitalize on it as much as they can.
When really, like a good game, like Pokemon, best example. Couple innovations over the years, but essentially unchanged for 20-30 years, and still makes millions and millions of dollars.
Oh yeah,
that was one.
It's
they'll always be around. It's just there was a time when it was similar. Like when Pokemon came out, that was the fucking rage. You know what I mean? Like card games, like there were things, they're fads and they go through, but like I feel like this fad needs to fucking die.
And then also is just because those fans that grew up with it now are also teaching their kids to love it.
Well.
Oh yeah. So I feel like it's just gonna keep a cycle, keep going and going and going. The fans will just keep being pushed out.
Oh yeah, but
From other fans.
it's definitely that way, and it propagates, and it depends on how good it is, obviously, and if
Yeah.
it continues to evolve with the times,
Mm-hmm.
which is my thing. I think that they need to evolve with the times in the correct way, and I don't think they necessarily have been. There have been some interesting things. I think you were the one who probably posted it, which was the Travis Scott concert on Fortnite or whatever.
Yeah, my son was the one that got all excited about. I didn't even know about it until he said something.
I
about
saw it on your page. I was like, that's a cool idea. That's unique.
Cool. He showed it to me.
But it's not like.
He's like, look. And I was like, what is this? And yeah, it was like, it was literally just a big haul. Yeah, I mean, you've seen the video, but
yeah, it was cool.
It was cool. It was cool. I really liked it.
Like that's the kind of stuff. But once again, that one. That's cool for like a concert thing, but that's not actual gameplay change.
No. And then they did it. They did that, I guess, a couple of times before that. They did it for what is his name? The Marshmallow. He did one for Fortnite as well, concert.
Didn't know
there
that.
Was another one before that as well, and another one. So they've been doing these, I guess, now for a while now with these little special kind of concert events, which are cool. I like that they do that. I mean, it's just what Destiny does, you know. They when Halloween or Christmas comes around, they do like a kind of Halloween, or even try to change the meet and greet kind of area. They try to make it Halloweenish, or just do things like that. I like things.
A bunch of games do that.
The game board, it makes it feel like the game is alive and it's
evolving, growing, changes.
So, so I really like those kind of things, and developers do awesome things like that. It is cool when they, and then I think more developers are getting more into that. They're trying to integrate more things into their games, or they keep more players to keep coming more and more and more. It's not one of those anymore like how we used to play, where it's a one and done, and then
it's like, all right, this game is a 2-hour game. This is a 10-hour game. Once you finish the story, that's it. That's the whole game. That's the whole game. There's no multiplayer. There's no online mode. There's no.
Glitches, but that's it.
Maybe one secret room if you're lucky. I always go back to the perfect example for me of games from our age of like what a game was at that time was Crash Bandicoot. And then on the other hand, in a similar vein but like the same thing of games at that time would be Mortal Kombat. These were games that were made even with their replayability, could only be played a certain number of times. You know what I mean? You can only play Mortal Kombat so many times before you get bored. But they had things in the game that were gimmicky, that would pull you back to run through. They had secret sections, they had unlockables, characters. If you got 1,000 fights without this, you could get the whoopsie. Or, you know what I mean? Shit like that. Like, Easter eggs, small things, little things that show you care, that it's like, yes, this is a game, but it's also something that's personable. Like, people made this. It's got a life of its own. It is its own entity. Like, they really do better. Like, even the new Doom is a good example of that, where it's like, yes, there's a ton of stuff going on, but, like, think of all the atmosphere stuff. The hologram of that lady that everywhere you go, she's just saying some weird shit. You know what I mean? Donate your blood. All of your blood. She's always, the Slayer is not as great as he seems. It's like, bitch, I am right here if you want some. And it's like, but no, like, seriously, like, things like that really do increase the value of a game. Good music, good subtle atmosphere, good story. I mean, and nowadays it seems like games are so much more focused on like, all right, well, one, and that's the other difference from our day to now, is like they expect nowadays, they're like, nah, this is, even if it's multiplayer, it's not local multiplayer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like you need your own system. And don't get me wrong, here's the problem is like, I want local multiplayer. That doesn't mean I want it to be only local multiplayer like Overcooked. But I do kind of expect to have a local multiplayer, because when we were kids, pretty much every game had a local multiplayer if you had multiplayer option.
Yeah.
Because one, internet, not a thing, not really, not for video games.
Nobody was really playing or buying the Xbox Live or
even
subscriptions at
even
the
then
time.
those didn't come out till 2000.
2001, yeah.
So that's like
2001. No, I want to say
2002, I think. Yeah.
Because 2001 was Xbox, and it took about a year or two
Xbox
for it to come
Live.
out.
When did it start? Let's see.
I know they were planning for it because they
2002.
had already
Yep.
integrated the internet cable into it.
They had planned, but it took them 2 years almost, or a year and a half from release to get it, because it's November 15th.
Part of the bundle when it first came out, it was like, hey, this is coming, but just you're gonna have to wait.
Yeah. Sony.
I can't really remember that at that time. What was the marketing strategy there?
Oh, dude, it was. I think they were just planning for the future. They're future-proofing the system, which was a good idea. Meanwhile, the PSN network, I think, didn't start till
PS3.
Yeah.
So that was what, 2004, 5. That's when new gens came out. I want to say 2006.
Probably 2006, November 11th, release of the PlayStation 3. It did have PlayStation 2 accessibility on some of them with the later Slims or whatever.
Yeah, I remember those. Yeah,
but
really
at that time, but we were already beyond the point of like caring about PlayStation 2. It had already been the most popular selling console of all time. You know what I mean? The hype was over. We were ready to branch out into multiple different kinds of gaming as opposed to just console or just handheld or just
since we'll move on from games, I did want to bring up some movie. Well, actually, one more thing before we move on from games. I am excited for the July release of July 28th for Destroy All Humans.
You know that you did tell me about that. I'd be interested to do it. It depends on how much time I've got, because I've still got to get through Doom. I've got to get through Gears Tactics. I got to get through the new Terraria update, which is going to be their final update after like 10 years or something.
Well, it was always my favorite when it first came out, and I played it, and I was like, this game's just it was just so like different. Like you're playing this little alien, and you're
killing humans, cows. Abducting cows.
There was all these parodies towards it too, and it was.
Just, it was a big movie spoof for sure.
And then obviously it was the voice of Invader Zim who did the.
Yeah, which was a cool. I forgot about that. That was that way. Because did they get him back for number 2 or no?
Yeah, actually, he did all voices for everything. You know what else I liked too was that it wasn't Jack Nicholson, but they made him sound like Jack Nicholson, and I like that they did that.
Sometimes it's worth it, man, especially if you don't get sued for it. You know what I mean? If you get sued for it, it's not worth it. But if you can get away with it, it's worth it. I think that'll be pretty cool. My cousin he did a real big run on that, in which he would like play that all the time and like super complete the game.
And especially with the revamped graphic, it just looks so much like, it just looks so good. It's much more fun to play. I can't wait.
I'm excited. Like, my thing about when they redo games is I want something like the new Final Fantasy, where it's not just like a remaster. It's like, I don't want it to just look nicer. At least increase the game functionality, make it smoother, make it,
Yeah, it's a lot smoother. You can tell.
That's good.
They even there's even some areas that they've literally just changed the whole map area of that section. So just like they were showing some differences, and it was just like a few mountains, and that was it. And they're like, well, the new version has like 40 or like 30 mountains, and has all this trees going on, and has this going on, has this.
Hey, they got more. They got more capabilities now, man. Back then, you got to remember how limited they were with some of their polygons and stuff. Like,
exactly. It was very polygonish. The game, you could tell.
Well, it had to be. That's how everything was run on games back then. Was how many polygons did you have in this one fucking scene or one sim?
Pretty good. It looks really clean, real nice.
That's cool.
But other than that, that's pretty much the only games I had on my list here. But I guess we can go on to the movies and stuff here and shows a few things.
Which I don't even know what's going on. Like, honestly, they just started releasing new trailers and starting to re-announce dates.
Doing new things, yeah. Like, did you see the trailer for that one? Actually looks good. Looks like classic Looney Tunes for HBO Max.
I don't think I've seen it, nah.
Yeah, they look it up. Yeah, they're doing the like a classic kind of Looney Tunes show on their HBO streaming service.
That's cool.
It looks very like the classic tunes, like the hijinks that they do, and just all the craziness that they do in all the old shows. It looks good. It's not like all the reboots they've been doing lately with the Looney Tunes, where it's like kind of like just something different. This is literally kind of like just a
classic.
Revamped of the classic one. So it looks good. There's that. Then Goosebumps live action is in talks, supposedly. I'm excited for that.
That has always been good. They've done a couple different ones, and it's always hit or miss for me for the Goosebumps ones. Like
The
they're either
movies
pretty,
were okay. I
yeah,
like the movies, but I think they were going too kiddish for me on those ones. There was some good horror stuff in there, but it didn't feel like the old school kind of TV shows to me, because the TV shows were kind of a little dark, some of them. So I don't know. The movies, like I said, were okay for me. I hope that they go kind of like that classic feel from the old ones a little bit. Because even like the Slappy, the dummy from the movie, he didn't seem as, as scary to me as from the show. Because even when I watch the
yeah.
show still, he is very creepy. He's like on a Chucky kind of creepy doll level, to me at least. But so there's that. And then I guess Kevin James, for whatever reason, is doing this kind of thriller home invasion movie. And I was very surprised that
He's actually like, people were always on, but like he did the fighting movie recently where he was like an actual fighter.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I did remember that.
I never saw it. I didn't actually see it. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think his range is that great.
It was still comedy.
That's the thing is like, I don't think his range is that great, but we've never actually got the chance to see him. He's never cast in any kind of serious role.
No. That's the same thing with Adam Sandler. Like I wanted to watch his
he's got a couple. He's got a couple serious
like,
roles.
Yeah, the one with the shoes. I remember
that one's okay. The one that I always think of is he has a movie where he's playing a survivor of the 9/11 incident.
I've never seen that one.
Oh, it's let me see if I can. Adam Sandler.
The one that I wanted to see was the one where he's a jeweler.
That one does look pretty cool. The new one, it's let's see, Adam Sandler jeweler. It should be Uncut Gems. It's like it's something to do with
that
something.
One looks good. That one's pretty good.
Yeah, Reign Over Me. It's him, Don Cheadle, and Jada Smith.
Ooh, okay.
It doesn't have the best reviews, I'm guessing. It's got like a 7.4, so it's not that bad. It's from 2007. And honestly, it's one of my favorite performances from him, where he really, I think that whole movie he's not really joking. Like some movies he does like a hybrid, like the Spanglish or whatever. It was like comedy slash.
Yeah.
50.
Yeah, it was a drama.
Yeah.
Drama comedy. I guess
Dramedy, yeah. Whereas 51st States was still more of a comedy. Yeah.
It was.
But yeah, Reign Over Me, from what I remember, is just like a straight like drama, as far as I remember. There's a couple ones, and then I think the problem with Uncut Gems is going to be that it's going to be similar to Spanglish, where
comedy in there.
Yeah, he's just going to be playing somebody, one that might be a little too similar to him, which he always does cast himself that way, as like a Jewish person with, you know what I mean? That's always who he plays. The other one, and obviously it's a comedy in every sense of the word, but talking about his range, 8 Crazy Nights.
That one's pretty good. I like that.
His,
one of my favorite movies that he did.
Absolutely, for me. Yeah, of course. And I think that may or may not have helped because he's a very vocal person, but for sure for me, 8 Crazy Nights is one of the more emotional roles that he's depicted, where he's like has to like show actual emotion, even if it's supposed to be funny. He does a good job at doing it, and I think maybe it's because he maybe relates to some of the ones in those different roles, but I don't know. Definitely an interesting watch, though.
So there's that, and then the other couple things that I wanted to go over was Spy vs. Spy supposedly is being made.
Did
into a
hear
movie
about
by
that.
The Dodgeball director.
Wow.
So I'm curious of that. Then that Hercules live action is supposedly
another Hercules live action. Jesus, like I get it. It's a classic Greek story. It's been done for thousands of years. Please, something else.
Space Jam, their Facebook just updated their cover photo, and now it is called Space Jam: A New Legacy. That is what the title of the movie is going to be called, with LeBron. So he also posted something on his Twitter or something.
I've been waiting. I mean, they've been talking about it for how long now?
So many years.
And I'm just like, cool, do it, and then release it, and people will like it, because people like everything based on Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Like,
and then what's your idea on all this AMC and Regal kind of thing with the brands of the Universal films?
I don't know, man. Like, I just don't care enough anymore.
Then like 2 days later, Regal came out and said, "Yeah, we're gonna join in now too." And now there's even now talks of like little independent, movie theaters as well, joining in, and
All
I
right,
don't
so
know.
what
I see.
happens? What happens when Universal says, "All right, I'm gonna just start doing stream to home videos,
Which is
direct
what
to
they were
video"?
making money. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly
they were
right.
making more money off stream to home
Yeah,
for most of
because
the movies.
most people don't. There's some people who just don't really like to go to the theaters anymore.
No,
Honestly.
it's a lot of hassle in many cases. Also, the stigma of like recent tragedies, of recent health, obviously events, but even just in general, like, all right, I go to the movies and I watch this movie once, and that's it. I rent the movie from direct to vid. I can watch it 2 or 3 times with everybody in my family for the same price. And
Yeah.
even though that seems like it wouldn't make you as much money, that means because it's more accessible and easier to use, more people buy it. It's like, you know, very much the supply and demand is not that hard to like predict and understand in that way. So like I respect them and I want them to continue, but yeah.
Exactly. I respect the decision, but then I feel like it's just gonna come back at them, and they're gonna have to
Right, is
take
this
that back because it's not gonna work, honestly.
Is this the time, and is it going to work? Right. The doing something is good and well done if it makes a difference. But if that difference is your entire movie chain shut down, then I don't think that was your goal. And so you haven't really made a good change or a good difference.
I mean, if they really do go with this, I really will go ahead and have to just cancel my A-list subscription. I mean, it really sucks, but like, really, I can't. I don't see
much as I like them,
subscription valuable at that point anymore.
Right, and I'm not loyal enough to AMC to stick around and pay for something that's not going to be beneficial to me. Like, no offense to them, I know they're a business, but I'm a person and I have bills to pay, and it might not be that much extra a month or this month for that, but like $10-15 can be the difference for a month, you know what I mean? And it's just like, nah, I'll just go watch some movies at the...
Yeah, I mean, I really don't think it's gonna take... They're gonna have to take it back. It's really not gonna work for them.
Maybe it's more of a publicity stunt.
Really, yeah, too. So we'll see what they'll say in the next couple weeks or so, or month, and stuff like that. And the last few things I want to talk about, TV shows. Did you see that new Robot Chicken show that's coming out? I think it's coming on Hulu. It's called, look it up. I think you'll like it. It's called Crossing Swords.
Crossing Swords.
And they're clay, nudity, sex dungeons, and very cute violence. It's they're like low clay motion in the medieval times.
Oh, okay. This does remind me a bit of that. I will say the style actually reminds me of Moral Oral.
A little bit, yeah. I think so, because weren't they the same though? Like Moral Oral and Robot Chicken?
They were a little. They were I think the same studio but different actual animators for the actual claymation.
Okay.
Because just the style of like looking at them, maybe though it's tough to tell without like seeing more. The other thing is Robot Chicken was worked on with like more of a team week by week basis because of the thing, and Moral Oral was like a smaller, more independent focused writing team. So I'm not sure. I'd have to check for both of them. It looks good though.
You might like that. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It looked interesting.
I think it's all about execution on those. Like, it doesn't matter the format. Like, that's why animation is still amazing, even though we have virtual effects, because it's all about how you do it.
I still love watching stop animation. It's just a good work. But all right, well then I guess that was pretty much all the movies. But I guess the one big comic news that I really was excited for was, did you see the and they've already announced this a couple weeks ago, but now it's going to look like it's finally going to come out, was the Last Ronin book for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And this is what really
I did see
is that Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird
work together. Yes,
back to work on it.
Yes, I was super excited for that because they've been talking about that. They were talking about that before everything got shut down, about how they were going to come together on that book and how it was the original like artist and writer and everything for the 2 different series coming together for the similar idea. And I was like, yes. But even the cover, like seeing that cover page they had or whatever, or the sample page, it looks dope. The art is so good. The lines and the fucking colors, like, I don't know, man. I've always been a Team NT fan, especially the comics, since the comics make them darker than they are in the fucking cartoons.
Oh, yeah.
Like, much darker, which I thought is so cool.
I really missed my chance when that new run came out where with IDW. It was actually pretty good I read from 93 up to 100 when they did their 100 issue, but the team now switched over to a new team after 100. But 1 through 100, I heard was a very good run for the
That's a pretty
IDW
long run. I
series.
mean, honestly, that's a good. Even just like usually, I think a lot of you can tell for runs, you can tell how good they are by their length.
Hmm.
Like a bad run just doesn't last long. It's usually 10 chapters or 10 you know what I mean? 10 issues, and then they're like, we've seen like significant loss in sales. We're switching you out for a different artist or a different writer. Whereas good runs can run several years. I mean, just think about Jason Aaron. I mean, he got to run Thor for even when he wasn't running Thor. You know what I mean?
Anything Thor related was given to Jason.
Yep. It's like, hey, I need you to sign off on this. He's like, no. What? But no. Get out of my office. Just slams Mjolnir on the desk, just cracks the desk. Like, get the out of my office. So that guy would deserve it. But that my example of that. So like even just that it's 100 issue, that it is a 100 issue one, I would kind of assume that it's a pretty good run.
Mm-hmm. And then well, I guess that was kind of everything for my comic news. There wasn't.
I
Really
mean,
too much
just the
except
general news.
comics are coming
Yeah.
back up again here in
DC
the end of, May.
DC is actually coming prior to the end of May,
yes,
I believe.
I've been keeping up with on that, and it's okay. The whole situation's a little weird. So they went ahead and went with 2 other distribution companies. One of them's called Lunar, and the other one I can't remember. But honestly, they're actually comic stores. Lunar, I don't think is I can't remember. I think Lunar is just Midtown Comics.
Yeah,
The
pretty
other
much.
one is DBCS Comics, or I can't remember, Discount Comic Books, whatever site. And that's just them. So they're not really even technically real
Here's
distribution.
the sad part about it. They're going to lose some of their credibility with Diamond because of that.
Yes,
like Diamond's not going to be
They've
happy.
been going back and forth. Diamond and DC have been already kind of like they've been posting stuff like they're kind of like bickering with each other. Like
Yeah, because it's like I understand the thing, but you couldn't like look at everybody else who's following the trend and the rules and the scientific, suggestions of the scientists. Now that we're finally listening to them, and then not listening to them anyway, and just reopening everything, which was part of this post, was to tell people like just because everything's opening, don't still be cautious and and safe. Does not mean that the world is safe yet just because everything's open, and that everything is releasing. I think that's bad for DC. And I know why they did it, because their sales are not at the point where they can afford to take that time off.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel has supplementary income that way outweighs anything DC gets from their movies, from just all the different stuff Marvel's got its hands in versus DC right now.
Mm-hmm. I feel like it was AT&T that made the decision. Because they also have a say in everything, and I feel like a lot of the things they do that are dumb are mostly probably coming from a phone company.
I mean, it definitely could be. We also know that Warner Brothers has not always got DC's best interest at heart.
No.
Or at least maybe don't know what the best interest for DC, the actions to get there,
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Disney, for the most part, seems to let Marvel do whatever it wants. It asks for some stuff, like you can see some clear indication of Disney popping, but like with the exception of all different Marvel, I've never felt that Marvel like strayed outside its lines due to being purchased by Disney. Like it was still Marvel. It was still releasing Deadpool comics where people were getting their unmentionables chopped off, and you know what I mean, like just bad stuff was happening or not friendly. Like people assumed like, all right, we bought, Disney bought Marvel, now Mickey Mouse is the new fucking Iron Man, and Iron Man can't curse or drink anymore. It's like, no, I mean, they're not that stupid. That's not how you become a super productive and profitable business, by making bad decisions like that.
Yeah. So I mean, there's that, and I mean, I bet now they're calling it New Tuesday Comic Book Day or whatever, because that's when the comics come for DC, and I guess they were taking pictures of how DC was already these distribution companies are packaging their comics. I mean, I will say they were doing a better job than Diamond was, because Diamond likes to just throw all their comics in a box and call it good.
I mean, yes, because Diamond has a huge, customer
Yeah,
base, whereas those
yeah.
other companies,
Well, I mean, cause I can see from comic stores how they get mad too about that. They wish that they would take a little bit more precaution on that because when a comic store has to buy 50 issues to go ahead and get a 1 out of 50 and to just have that 1 out of 50 be damaged coming to your shop and them to just say, well, that's it, can't send you another one because all our orders are in. So I can see
I can
some
see for
things on
that,
the
for sure. Although,
but
legally speaking, the stores should be able to seek compensation for those. Like,
they sometimes do. I mean, I've heard the stories from the comic stores. There has been some good things and some bad things said
yeah.
about Diamond, but I mean that's with anything, right? I mean, can't be
Yes.
perfect.
No, and to be fair, like, everyone makes mistakes. Obviously, things can be better at Diamond. Diamond's not perfect. No one ever said Diamond was. It's just the industry standard.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
all. It's like, I'm trying to think of something similar to, like, give an explanation. BMS, that name, I think it's BMS and ASCAP, which are the two musician firms or whatever for licensing music. You can only go with one of the two, and neither of them are perfect. You know what I mean? There's only so much options that you can do. You can only get so many good things. Having said that, I mean, I'm glad to hear comics are coming back, period, despite all the drama surrounding it. Maybe if DC doesn't figure out its stuff, maybe it's able to create a more thriving market with a new publisher or distributor.
What I heard is that it was only for just till now until Diamond comes, because they still have their orders in, everyone with Diamond. This was literally, they only did this now till whenever Diamond comes back at the end of May. So once they come back in, DC's now has to go back with them as their distribution team,
which is gonna screw up all their stuff.
They really do want to go the other route, which I don't think they will, but there's that. And then Marvel right now they're not fully going all the way out right now. From what I've seen on their list, it's only like a few issues. Maybe like I think I've seen like six issues a week coming out right now.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. They don't want to strain the system by just throwing like 4 or 5 weeks worth of new books all at once, or and that would.
I mean, even just for people, like, it would make sense as a marketing strategy because you release 20 books all at once and people can only buy 5 books a week. Well, probably should have just saved it and released the books later.
I mean, Marvel does it anyways because they're just like, I'm just gonna we'll make us so many, because I was getting a little burnt out there.
They did have too many titles. Too many titles.
Things coming out this year.
Like, I couldn't keep up with it. X-Men had 5 or 6. You had 5 or 6 Carnage fucking.
They had that Black Widow thing about. Then they had that whole Empire thing about to start up with all their spin-offs.
Dude, there was a lot going on. I'm surprised they can afford to make all these comics and still be profitable, but they can, man. They can do it. Having said that, I was
gonna say, I think that's pretty much our end here.
Yeah, we're a little even over our time, but hey, it was good to talk, especially since it's been a couple weeks due to personal logistics, and then obviously just not having shit to talk about.
Yes.
Because they just barely started reopening things this week, basically, or last week. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and throw on this last trailer for an outro, and it should all be good. Alrighty, let's go ahead and boom.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It's back.
Getting reacquainted with old friends.
Uncle George, the reason I'm back home, my father, he's gone missing.
1, 2, 3.
He wrote me. The place he wants me to go is in Lovecraft country.
1, 2, 3.
This place
1, 2, 3.
is dangerous.
I thought the world was one way and found out it isn't.
I haven't even gotten to the real strange part.